Okay, we're doing a few different things here. Hopefully, people will be able to check in. I have to have some backup maneuvers here for this broadcast. I'm also broadcasting through my phone. And sorry for the inconvenience. We seem to, a lot of people have a lot of technical issues when it comes to broadcasting, whether it's Blog Talk or here. There seems to be some issues, especially if you're running late like I was. So I'm coming through my phone for the first time, my Android Samsung phone, and we're going to see how this works. And hopefully people will be able to come on. Let me give myself some backup here. I think, what's going on in the world today is there's a lot of opportunity to get some fresh information, and I know a lot of the various private closed groups on Facebook that I belong to, they're having some issues when it comes to broadcasting. So someone had one last night, and it took a little while to bring the co-host on for the evening. So it was not easy for them to do the show, but they did get their almost 90 minutes in. And so I was hoping to get my 90 minutes in by coming on a little later today, and I might make this, who knows, a shorter version than what I expected. But this is, like to say, this is Broadway, huh? Dealing online with the internet has never been an easy thing for anybody to be able to do, whether you've been doing it a long time or a short time. So, we're going through with this, and hopefully people will catch it, and hopefully the phone doesn't fall over. I still can't bring up my page yet on my laptop, so we're going to go this route. Now, one of the things before I get started is this is the Circle of Grace 1, and the Circle of Grace 1 was founded on July 2nd, 1999 AD, under the aegis and the anointing of the Angel of Grace through divine providence. It gave birth to his very own spiritual and metaphysical institute called the Circle of Divine Grace and Remembrance, which was done on February the 7th, 2009. And now we're having this opportunity to come back on Ustream and Blog Talk Radio and such. I've been in this field, on my path anyway, for as of this year, coming in July, as of 42 years. Just so happened I kind of almost started at the same time, 42 years ago, almost to the same date, when I got myself involved in more deeply into metaphysics and spirituality in those studies. So it is my opportunity, excuse me, to be able to bring this to the public in a larger platform so everybody can get this information. And I teach a lot of different things from numerology to what we call astronumerology, numerology, tarot. Do a course called energetic palmistry, which is having people just study the shape of the hand alone and looking at how the joints on the fingers are, and people could very easily kind of get a personality reading of people. I also have taught handwriting analysis over the years and a wide variety of subject matters dealing with the crystallics of working with the energies of crystals, chakras, how to read auras, how to scan an aura around a person. And so I would say it might be at this time a lot of people on. Usually I'm on much earlier. I'm on at least about 3 hours earlier, but I couldn't do the show at my normal time, which was 5. So I'm coming on kind of late. So when things are running like this, it means you got thousands of people broadcasting all the time. One of the things that I want to bring forward here, now if anybody comes into the chat room, I'll be able to see any questions or comments. What I'm going to do later, if I don't get a chance to go through my laptop and record this, I'm going to make an attempt at doing a different show, because I also do what I refer to as random broadcasting. Random broadcasting is going online at certain times of the day, morning, maybe noontime, early afternoon, or late at night, and just broadcast the show. And I may very well have to do that with this particular show. Now, before I should get started, let me open this up with a basic prayer. Through divine power and by divine grace, for all those who have to witness the show this way this time around, may you be blessed just the same. May you receive a blessing. May you receive the seed thoughts that are going to flow from me to you in this process. So may you be able to feel more grounded, more centered, more enlightened in your own way for yourself. May the words or material that you hear me speak upon this evening, may it bless you in some kind of a way that helps your life grow and blossom and expand. And so as we move forward with this, amen, in the sun vibration of amen and the spirit of amen itself, may we all move accordingly with the divine. And may we be at peace with it. May we be at rest with it. May we graduate into it at a higher level of understanding so that we are freeing ourselves, making ourselves more sovereign to us. And this is for all of us. This is, not about a race issue. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about separatism. I'm talking about all people. Doesn't matter where you were born in the world. May you have an opportunity to move forward with your life and expand your life and have a greater connection to the divine source within yourself. And this is what the I am presence is all about. This is what all of this that you're seeing in the world now, where people are connecting, be it with the sun, the moon, you name it, connecting with the animal kingdom, the plant totems. It's all about recognizing that divine source that you have within yourself, so that you are moving forward, so that you are feeling greater alignment and attunement to yourself. So as I see, I'm not going to be broadcasting on my laptop. I'm coming through my phone, but I will come back later, hopefully later on in the evening, and do a shorter broadcast. So at least my followers will get a 60-minute show that they can observe. Now, that show can be done here, uploaded here, or that show, usually I can do it live here, or that show can be put later on into my YouTube channel, where you could then receive information that way. So, what I want to talk about tonight is really about all of us on some level, and this may not even fit all of us, maybe just a few of us, being able to connect with that inner force, that divine source, the infinite self. But how can we recognize our power? Where do we find that power? How do we know that we're powerful? How can we benefit further from anything that we're doing that can create a sense of wholeness for ourselves? So, what is it that we're doing that's allowing us to create a better sense of wholeness for ourselves? What are we doing that is allowing us to be aligned with that greater source of divinity for ourselves? What is it that we need to do in order to receive that in our consciousness? Well, I know for sure that many of us always use affirmations, prayers, decrees. We are always using some form of meditation because meditation is what is used to help us go within, to turn the pages of our own life and begin to contemplate them, analyze them, and meditate, meaning to go deep to the root, to the center, to the cause, to the foundation, to the crown, so that we gain a better understanding. Often we are always seeking um, this resolution on the inside as well as on the outside. So we know we have what they call esoteric studies. That's going on the inside and dealing with the metaphysical and the spiritual part on the inside. That's esoteric. Then there's exoteric. X means out, that which you find outside of yourself. So when we're seeking teachers and mentors and coaches, we're seeking outside ourselves and we're looking to those individuals to help us turn on the light switch, light that candle from the inside. Now, sometimes people who are on the outside are not necessarily helping you, I would say, directly to turn that switch on. They're giving you perhaps tools and keys and words and instructions in different forms and methods and a practice so that it's left up to you to be able to turn that switch on. Now, often, as we're trying to reach inside to turn that switch on, we have to reach inside the memory bank. We have to go really deep and start to pull out what is on the inside of us that could help us turn on that memory bank, turn on that light, turn on that truth, turning on that knowing, that self-knowing. Many times, from one culture to the next, people have been talking about self-realization. Can I realize myself? Can I gain the understanding of myself? Do I know who I am? And often in life, we are on a road of self-discovery. When we are children and unable to walk, we rely on our parents or we rely on siblings and relatives to help us stand. So they carry us and they nurture us. And hopefully, they're doing it in a positive way. Hopefully, they're doing it, as we know, the best of their ability to give us the shelter, give us the food, the sustenance, the teachings that are needed to sustain us. And then, of course, we go off to school. Most of us have been able to do that. Go off to school, grade school, you're with your peers. At high school, you're with more peers from grade school into high school, and you're meeting other people. Then, same thing, you go into high school, and then what? College, universities, you meet even more people. And hopefully, these peers throughout these educational levels are impacting your awareness. Your teachers, your professors, people that you look up to, people that mentor you, are also, you hope that they are influencing you in a positive way to get you to think for yourself, get you to understand whatever it is you need to understand so that you can move forward comfortably in your own life. And we all know that life has as many ups and downs. It has some things that's going to trick us and trip us. Why? Because we're all trying to gain that understanding about who we really are. We're trying to trust that we're going to know that. We're hoping we got the right set of people around us. We're hoping we got positive people around us, enough positive people to help us what? Move forward, to go deeper inside the consciousness, inside that inner person. So we're seeking that. And we're looking forward to move into that. So, how can we further gain some type of awareness about ourselves? How can we do that? How can we reach further into ourselves? How can we do that? How can we know that we can grow and be more responsible for ourselves? Well, responsibility is the ability to respond for us as an individual. How can we see ourselves doing that? And we know one of the main things is a constant practice. We have to continuously study ourselves. We have to continuously connect and communicate with other people. We have to continuously, almost by trial by error, learn from our mistakes, hopefully, learn to hang out with the right people instead of the wrong people, do the things that's going to build our confidence and build our spiritual base and our metaphysical base so that we have a fuller understanding of who we really are. As I put my hands up like this, these are prayer positions people have used with their hands to receive. So my thought might be to the community of people who can watch this now or later is, what are you receiving? If we use your left hand, whichever hand, let's say, is your dominant hand. Dominant meaning the hand you write with. So some people are left-handed, some people are right-handed. It doesn't matter. Whichever hand you're dominant with, that's the hand that allows you to issue energy, to give of yourself. And your subdominant or your magnetic hand is the hand that you don't write with. That's the one that allows you to receive. So if we think of it that way, and I know somebody will go, well, I'm ambidextrous. So, okay, you got both hands then. You have the power. You have twice the power to receive and twice the power to give. The whole idea is for us to begin to think about and begin to analyze what have we been receiving as a source of nourishment spiritually for ourselves, metaphysically for ourselves, and even on the physical plane. What have we been doing so that we can grow? And in the process of us growing, we are in some way impacting our immediate surroundings. Yes, we can get influenced by other people, and yes, we can impact the lives of other people. And we do it all the time. Those of you who are parents, surrogate parents, stepmom and stepdads, those of you who are older siblings taking care of your younger siblings, you feel that all the time. You feel the pressure of being the caregiver, the supporter, the one giving shelter, and helping that younger person move to the next level with confidence in their life. So we're like, throughout our entire life, we're giving of ourselves to help others. We're giving of ourselves to help ourselves. And we're definitely receiving. We're receiving either a yay, a yes for our good deeds. We're receiving a yes in a different format just by what we see that we are accomplishing. What I mean, an example would be, let's say you help someone have a better understanding about themselves. You've helped someone be more trustworthy. You've helped someone be more honest with themselves and a little bit more transparent with themselves, so that when other people see them, they see the same person all the time. They don't see somebody that's different. Yes, we always going to have some disagreements, but the whole idea is to have the disagreement to understand what the other person was thinking, what the other person was feeling, even if you don't agree with it. But understand that's what they were feeling, and they also have to understand what the heck you were feeling. It's this give and take that we are doing all the time, giving and taking. Well, let's say giving and receiving. That's my phone seems to have a lot of excitement. We're about giving and receiving. And when you're receiving, you're hoping. It's your hope that, of course, you're getting something of quality just as much as you are giving something of quality to everyone else around you. There are a lot of givers on the planet, a lot of people giving of themselves, and sometimes give so much that they forget to save a little for themselves. So they tire themselves out. And then there are other people who can just give nonstop, and they seem to never run out of the energy of giving. So they're all right. And then there's people who are receiving. And there are some people, and we all know there, and this is not a judgment call, but we all know by observing, but we don't always understand what an individual might be deeply going through. We see some people who seem to ride on the back of somebody else for a long time. We see some people who never seem to turn that corner. They seem to always be stuck where they're not doing something for themselves, or they're just not in a position, because we don't know. We don't know if someone's really in position to do something for themselves. Those of us who have worked throughout their lives for someone else, or someone like myself, I worked for others, and then I decided, hey, my parents at some point changed the script. My mother was a domestic worker, my father was a construction worker, but my father went to school to study radio, TV, and electronics. Why? Because he had a knack, he had a gift at doing it. And my mother had a gift at picking up on that kind of information. And eventually, my mother was the business person. My father took the lessons to learn how to fix radios and TVs because he could read schematics. And my mom, she could read schematics too. But what did she do? She went to business school on her own. Well, I was a little boy, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. My mother was going to business school, learning, because she knew that at some point, her and her husband, my mom and my dad, were going to go into a business together, and they did it 3 times: Revels, TV, radio, and electronics. They did it. And instilled in my brother and I not to really work for somebody else if you could help it. Try working for yourself. My brother's a professional musician and a teacher. I'm out here teaching metaphysics, psychic stuff, and spirituality. It can be done. We could do what we need to do. We could reach deep down inside ourselves. So what we might want to do, use ourselves on some level as an example of getting out of the box. Use ourselves as an example of getting out of the box, getting out of that box of limitation. Granted, not all of us are completely out. I can say for sure I'm not completely out of mine. My box just got bigger. My box got a little bigger over the years. And in that box, or I'm going to call it my sand pit, I'm playing with other members of society in that sand pit of my life, moving the stones, meditating on the next move, or helping someone else meditate on what's the correct move for themselves. So we might want to begin to ask ourselves, how deep can we go with ourselves? How far do we need to go? Or how far should we go? Or how do we go about doing it? I just said earlier that, meditation is a way for us to get deeper, in here and deeper down in that heart center. We think about it. Sometimes we don't realize just how creative we really are. Some people find out that they're very good working with their hands. So they start to build things. They do carpentry work. And they find out they love doing it. Men and women love doing it. Well, they start building what? Tables and chairs and couches and cabinets. They just start doing it. They realize, I know how to do this. But now, as long as they got some room in which to put the physical stuff in there and all the materials and set some time aside, they can do it. People can paint. People can play instruments. People can become choreographers or dancers. People have a knack for creating film, taking pictures. So we know that somewhere down inside we have a gift, or technically we're going to study the gift. We're going to find somebody who can teach it to us. And we're going to realize we may have to pay something. We may have to put something in exchange to pay for it in order to learn it. But while we're doing that, we're going to go inside and find out just how good we can be. How can we grow into being that photographer, that film person, the producer of a film, a director of a film or a movie, a play, a composer, an arranger. We have to find that for ourselves. And yes, you'll have some teachers, and yes, you'll have your up times, and you're going to have a lot of down times where you just can't seem to get to the next level, or you just can't see it. Or maybe you don't need to push to the next level. You just need to push straight ahead on the level that you're on. So sometimes people come to me and they say, Brother Francis, I admire you. How you've been able to do what you do. Now I could use that old Southern spiritual thought. I left it up to the Lord. I convened with the Lord. I left it up to the Lord. But it's really my own prayer, my own meditation. And I'm 64. I'm still learning that maybe the prayer that I'm releasing out there into this greater universe, maybe this prayer that I'm really putting out there is a prayer to my higher self, to the God divine self inside of me. Maybe that's the one I'm really talking to. I'm not talking to some fictitious part of myself. I'm talking to a real divine source, a real spiritual energy that has intelligence, that is brilliance. Uh, it's brilliant and it's capable of communicating with me. Now, I know it sounds like I'm talking all over the place, and sometimes I do. I'm trying to capture a lot of thoughts. Like I'm trying to receive thoughts coming in, and I'm trying to issue. So I'm receiving subliminal thoughts coming up throughout the day of just thinking and talking to other people and going into meditation on my own. I am going to come back a little later and do maybe a 30, 40-minute show. It's going to be a random broadcast. Whether I do it through this apparatus called my Android phone, this is the first time I'm using it like this, or I'll come back later and I'll do it online through my laptop. But it is time, it is this moment in our lives when all of us has a calling. We know we want to do something that can impact the world. Well, the first world it has to impact is our personal world. That's the first thing. We're not impacting ourselves personally. No one is going to listen. No one is going to sit back and listen to what we're saying because they don't see that you've made any changes in your own life. That would be simply like someone coming to me say, "Hey, Brother Francis, can you give me some type of exercise program so I can drop weight?" Well, I can give them an exercise program, but I always let them know I'm not the master of weight loss because I've had to work on my own weight up and down, always, and still working on it. So I'm not the master of that. They need to go to somebody who has mastered that. In other words, someone who's got it and they've maintained it for years. Now, but if you want something where you want a practical thought, an idea, a plan to get rid of some habits and thoughts um, that no longer serve you, and that has to do with self esteem, then you can come to me. I can help you because I've been there. If you've got some thoughts that have been nagging you, and I mean on you, where you feel like you don't want to be here on this planet, I've been there. No, I'm not a licensed psychologist. Let's say I'm this spiritual person, spiritual being in this physical world just like you are, and I've gone through some stuff. So we could talk about some things and move you from a space of being despondent, being not happy with yourself, being angry with yourself, not loving yourself, not having what we call proper value of who you are, self worth. I can help you with that because I've been there. I've been on the planet, what, 64 years. So, I've had my share. Once going off into college or whatever, I had my share. I haven't had 40 years. And I'm still working with me. But I can share what I've learned about the process. And I share it through various metaphysical and spiritual tools. Our whole life is ahead of us. I'm feeling this as a internal message that when someone plays this later, they can receive this. I was hoping to make this a 90-minute show. I may have to cut back because if I'm going to do that other show, I want to make sure someone gets a good solid 60 minutes of another show. So let's say this is a two-part show. How you can walk into your own consciousness. How can you discover if you're doing what is right for you? See, no one else can really tell you. Even though I'm sitting here, I'm sharing these internal thoughts with you. Yet, I cannot even tell you what you can or cannot do. So you will decide that for yourself. I will bring you a buffet of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. I'll bring you a buffet of tools that you could delve into and see how to best use those tools for yourself. Can you apply those tools to yourself? See, everything I'm teaching, you can apply it to yourself. You're the first test model where you have to see it work for you. Then, as you see it work for you, then you're exercising, then you're expanding your life more for you. Then you're getting outside that tiny, tiny box called me and stepping into that other box called I. And then you learn all about that part that's talking about I. You learn to deal with that part. So then you move into myself. Myself. Myself who has graduated from being egotistical, whining, Whining is just going past crying. Whining about something that I didn't get, something that I didn't receive, something that I didn't have a chance to do. You learn how to put that much love and attention onto yourself for your well being, for your benefit. Once you feel comfortable with yourself, yes, then you could fully turn around and help somebody else. Even if you're halfway there, you can take a part of yourself and help them. Help that other person, man, woman, or child, become more resourceful with their spiritual energy. So they're not just giving up their energy. Many times people are giving up their energy. One of my friend's sons, he had to get his tongue worked on and had his teeth worked on. One of the things he asked me was, why is everybody, including him, his mom, his dad, everybody you know has a cold, has this sniffles. We're in the Southwest. Dust is picking up all the time. That's another way. Wind is blowing from one state to the next, off the water, off the mountains, off the sand. All this is going into the nasal passage, the more refined dust particles. But he asked me, did the chemtrails have anything to do with it? Well, we could say maybe the chemtrails did, but we have to really look back what we're doing. So instead of going, okay, it's way outside that it's affecting, because yes, that's a part of it that's affecting us. But what are we doing on this plane that's affecting us? What are we doing on the physical? Are we eating properly for ourselves? Are we getting the necessary rest that we need for ourselves? Are we allowing ourselves to get some fresh air and some exercise, whatever fresh air we can get, whatever exercise we could put in? Are we allowing ourselves to enjoy life on whatever level that we can enjoy it? Those are some of the things we have to ask. Many of us can work for years and then say, wow, I haven't had a vacation in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. No, we need to turn that around so we can have that time off on a regular basis. Why wait 5 years? And I've been guilty of that. Wait 5 years, another 5 years, and all during the time experiencing life. So why not take, every 5 weeks? Or if you working your science for yourself, start targeting. Hey, this weekend I'm going to have some time off. And then 2 weeks or 3 weeks from now, I'm going to have some more time off. But allowing yourself to have that time off. Maybe you just work 4 days out of the week and rest for 3. We can set this up. We can initiate this and get it out there so it works for us. So, again, what are we receiving and what are we giving? What are we receiving and taking in for ourselves, and what are we sharing with other people? Are we sharing that part of ourselves that's more transparent, or we're giving them some kind of package image of ourselves? So here's the other side of the coin. As much as you're giving and receiving, one of the things is you don't want to be on a pedestal. Whenever you're on that pedestal, you're either looking down at others and others are looking up, and those who are looking up at you are worshiping you. You want to make it so in the understanding that everybody's on the same level. It doesn't matter if you have been a professional athlete for 20 years or you've been a billionaire for 3 years. Well, yeah, one's got a lot of money and one doesn't. But the wealthiest people sometimes aren't the happiest people. The wealthiest people are enriched with life. Those are the wealthiest people. They are rich on the inside with life and giving and playing and understanding. And yes, when there's difficulties, they go through that difficulty, but they don't wallow in it. As we used to say when I was growing up, you got difficulties, you fell in the mud, but you don't stay there and wallow in the mud. People understand you're slipping and sliding, trying to get out of the mud, but just don't stay in there and then develop what we call self-pity and self-victimhood. Just don't stay there for that. Because then now you're going to get negative attention. When before you were striving for some sense of positive attention. So we start to have to really look at ourselves a little deeper. What are we doing that's blocking ourselves? What are we doing that's going to elevate ourselves? What are we doing that's going to block someone else or elevate someone else's life? Or are we willing to go all out because we know that if we're planting some seeds with other people, that we're influencing, I do like clapping, we're influencing them for positive reasons, or are we influencing, overwhelming them for negative reasons, for our own selfishness? So again, you look at this and say, well, he's talking about a lot of things here. Talking about a lot of things. What are you really talking about? I'm talking about us. See, I didn't make this show about you because I talked about some things that I've had difficulties with. We all have them. As long as we're in this physical form, we have them. We're always striving to take care of this inner body, this temple from within, which means we work at changing the way our thoughts are, changing the way our feelings and what we're hearing and what we're sensing. This is why it's important to get to know who we really are. Not just jot down some do's and don'ts, some likes or dislikes, but really start to be in the present moment. That's how we learn who we are, is staying in the present moment. If we can live and act and stay and listen all in the present moment, then we take on less burdens and responsibilities for ourselves. We don't have to carry stuff we don't need anymore. We don't have to feel down and out because we're not worthy of it. No, you're worthy. You just got to remind yourself just how worthy you are. So what are some of the things that you could do to uplift yourself, to give more value to yourself, to gain more strength and courage and faith and honesty, integrity? What can you do? I was just telling someone the other day, the next time you get up in the morning, getting yourself ready for work or going out for the evening or going out in the daytime with friends or children, you name it, begin to look into the mirror and begin to tell yourself just how good you are. That you're a good person, that you're a great person, that you move from one point where you didn't have anything to some place where you've got something. And you know you got it because you're not going to lose it. You're not going to devalue it either. So I told the person to look into the mirror, really observe their features. You can do this too right now. If you got a mirror next to you, I want you to take a look, or if you got a small mirror, take a look. Take a look at yourself and observe yourself very closely. Are you constantly worrying all the time? Are you crying all the time? Are you upset about something? Work on it and release it. Forgive yourself. Release it. People say, well, forgive those who had hurt you. Forgive yourself first. Because you can forgive the person that's hurting you. And yet what? You're still carrying around the pain. All those years, that pain. And you're going to give birth to it again. Because the next person that comes into your life you think should be there for you, all of a sudden, all that negativity that you had on the inside starts sliding into into their pockets, into their heart, into their mind. Nobody wants that. So you work on yourself. Gain comfort with yourself. Gain greater confidence, self-esteem, self-love, self-knowing, self-realizing who you are. And as you do that, you will begin to graduate, raise your mind, raise your feelings, become a better empath for yourself, clarify your psychic. Now, people say, yeah, psychic is guessing. Now, that's what it came out to be. But the word, it comes from the word, Greek word psycho, or psyche, Pysche. It has to do with the soul, that being on the inside of you. That's what psychometry is about. The measuring of the soul, the energy, the essence of the soul, which we also call spirit or higher self. Maybe one of the things I should go into one of my shows here is the use of a pendulum. And when you use a pendulum, you can determine what is left, right, front, back, yes, no, a dramatic yes, a dramatic no, or maybe yes, or maybe no. And you can begin to go in and find out where you are in your consciousness. Is your consciousness low, or your emotional energy, mental and physical energy, is that low? Are you doing something to pick up your metabolism? Or are you just fading away into a sea of illness? It's all about finding what's at the core of who you are, or we call the root or the principled foundation of who you really are, and having the love for that part of yourself so deep that it is inseparable. That's what the word individual means. Unable to divide oneself. You can't pull yourself apart from another part of yourself. It's all about trusting, trusting, trusting. It's all about loving you unconditionally with all of your quote unquote faults and your physical appearances, the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you smile, the way you frown, the way you express anger, loving all parts of that. Those, getting in touch with the dark side of yourself, so to speak. Getting inside and turning on the switch. Because all darkness is not dark 24/7. There is some traces of light. And all light is not light 24/7. There's some shadows and traces of darkness coming into the light. So both are needed for the balance. You want to go within inside yourself and find out who you are. Not just what you can handle and what you can't handle emotionally and mentally and spiritually. No. Find out, are you a person that can receive or give goodness? Receive or give a good prank? Receive and give laughter, joy, happiness, transparency, honesty, integrity? Do you have principles? Once you discover all of that, now you can help somebody else discover, so they can do what? Turn the light switch on the inside. Light that candle flame on the inside. Then what? They can move ahead, purging, clearing what needs to be cleared out. Cleared out those things that don't work. That's the beauty of this, is finding ways to free your mind. Let me have a sip of water. I say there's water with apple cider vinegar in it. Find you first. Find you first. As you find yourself first, then what happens? You soon discover that you're not as weak as you thought. I'm going to say that again. You're going to find out that you are not as weak as you thought. You're going to find out just how strong you really are. You're going to find out how smart you really are. Not just book smart, but what we call street smart. You're gonna find that which makes you tick, that makes you have the drive and the passion to be successful. And then you're going to learn what? That most of the time you have been successful. That's the greatness about you, that most of the time you have been successful. Didn't you get that new job you wanted? Didn't you get that car, whether it was used or new? Didn't you get yourself some new threads, as they call it, some new clothes? Didn't you treat yourself to a spa, a sauna somewhere? Gave yourself a vacation? Why? Because you knew that you deserved it. So that's a part of your realization. You're realizing that you deserve something better for you. And don't worry about how other people are seeing you attaining it. You know, I used to take Tai Chi classes about some 20, 30 years ago. The seafood to take us out into the park. And it was down there by the East River in New York City. Take us to this park. All kind of people would be out there exercising, bodybuilding, you name it. Doing what I didn't know back then, what I knew now is called Pilates. Doing everything. And he had what? 10 students, 15 students, 20 of us max, running around the oval track. Then when we're done, coming inside, stretching on the inside of the field. But the most important thing was when you didn't feel like running, he would get right next to you and cause you to run. Say something to you that could pick up your spirit and make you run. Running for him was you having the ability to go after something that you seek and that you love, that you desire, that you know is healthy for you. Run after it. Set up a plan to run after it. Set up a plan, because whatever you're running after, along the way, you're picking up some gems, a lot of gems, a lot of things about yourself that you didn't know before. So what? You're creating better value for yourself. And that light switch is turning on in the heart. It's all about you. And I'm going to say that again. It's all about you. What are you receiving, and what are you giving? What are you embracing and not embracing? What are you doing that has devalued who you are? And what are you doing to increase your value, increase your self-worth? We want to evolve into a state of compassion, grace, unconditional love, honesty, transparency, truth. And we want to be just to ourselves. We want to create that balance for ourselves. Because if we don't, we'll be imbalanced. Then we have the so-called illness, the so-called cold, hair falling out of your head, looking too old too soon, walking leaning over when you should be standing straight up with self-pride. What are we doing to ourselves and for ourselves? That's the question. What are we doing to ourselves and for ourselves? What is it that we are still a little confused about? Or maybe not. Maybe we're not confused. Maybe we're just more angry than anything else. Because when you get angry, then you decide what, to make some changes or not make any changes, to move forward or stand still. As I was hoping to do a 2 hour show, I see that this show is going to be cut back. I'm sorry for that. My fault for coming on late, but I had to try to, I'm not going to say try, but assist my spiritual sister in her expo. If you're ever out here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, let me put this in. If you're out here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where I reside and I do a great deal of my work and I broadcast from my residence, if you happen to be out here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, in 2 weeks, Saturday, April the 16th. Saturday, April the 16th, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. My sister has her Divinity Within Mind, Body, Spirit, Healing Arts Expo. In fact, that's one of the reasons I was running a little late, because I got to create artwork, some new artwork to bring in to show, spiritual artwork. I'll be there doing Angel of Grace readings for people. Also giving information from my other spirit guides for people. I'll be doing readings such as $10 for 15 minutes and $20 for 30 minutes. Just a snippet so that you can get information. So that you can receive information that will assist you in changing your life. Later on, during the day, I will be on a small platform stage, taking people through a basic meditation, breath and color, and then stepping off and walking around and giving everybody a spirit message from the Angel of Grace, or from Akhenaten, or from my ancestors. We want you to receive. So if you're here in Albuquerque, come down to 199 Central Avenue, Northeast. The location, cross street, is going to be Broadway Boulevard, Northeast. If you're traveling west on Central, when you get to Broadway, you're going to make a right turn heading north, and the first driveway on your left, go right in there and just follow the signs and look for the Epicenter. Epicenter. Epicenter Albuquerque. Small convention hall there. We'll be inside. If you're traveling east on Central Avenue, you will make a left turn at Broadway, first driveway on your left. If you're traveling south, from south of Broadway, like coming from Bridge Street, this is by Albuquerque, coming from Bridge Street, coming up Broadway, go right across Central, because that's the traffic light there. Go right across Central. As you cross over Central to the north side of Broadway Boulevard, make the first left turn. And if you're traveling south on Broadway, before you get to the traffic light, you'll see an open parking lot, and the last driveway on the right. You go in and just follow the arrows, follow the signs to Divinity Within, Mind, Body, Spirit, Healing Arts Expo. We're going to have massage there, kinesiology there. Different people will be talking about different elements of health and wellness. Admission is $6 at the door, and various vendors. We should have about 15 to 20 vendors. They all have their own things. I'll be a vendor as well. My sister's son will be doing healing hugs, $1 a hug. And when he hugs somebody, peace comes into them. Peace falls into them. Peace comes up out of them in unconditional love. And we're going to have a special ceremony at the end of the day. So hang out. We're going to have food. We got a chef there. Just met the chef. He's wonderful. This is Southwest, so you're going to get some burritos, Southwestern burritos. Some hot, some mild. Some not hot at all. There'll be food, drink. There'll be some healthy coffee there. And you'll be able to enjoy yourself. 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Admission is $6 to Divinity Within's Mind, Body, Spirit, Healing Arts Expo. Next Thursday, I'll be back here at my regular time. I plan on being back here next Thursday at my regular time, 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Pacific, for at least 90 minutes. For Circle Grace 1 with Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey, that's moi, that's me. Every Wednesday, Blog Talk Radio, 4 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, a little 30-minute internet radio, live internet radio show. Go to Blog Talk Radio, look up the Age of Remembrance. Look up the Age of Remembrance. That's my audio channel on Blog Talk Radio. You can listen to the show by calling in our guest number at Call our guest number, which is 347-677-0851. That's every Wednesday, 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Pacific Time for a 30-minute live broadcast. And of course, every Thursday, 5 p.m. Mountain Time, right here, live video stream. I'm going to be seeking out some other platforms in which to broadcast. Might be doing more live streaming broadcasts, as well as some more internet radio broadcasts. I want to make sure I'm reaching out to a lot of people. That's essential. I want to make sure everybody's getting the information that they need to get for themselves. We're about a minute. Well, we've gone approximately quite some time. We're almost 1 hour. One of my clocks on my phone is showing an hour and 2 minutes. And so that's what, 61 minutes, 62 minutes. And my other one is showing a little more behind time. But we're broadcasting live right here, about 58 minutes, doing just about an hour. Want to make sure that people got this information. But I'm going to sign off because I can see I've got on my laptop, I'm not even online, but I can see all these calls coming in. People want to make an arrangement and get a spiritual consultation. So if you want to get more information about what I do, simply email me at the letters IAM dot, little period, circle of grace 1 at yahoo.com. That's IAM dot circle of grace 1 at yahoo.com, and you can reach me. Let's see if you can see my business card. Let's see if I could give you this business card if it shows up. See that? Circle of Grace 1, Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey. The Circle of Grace 1 is the circle of divine grace and remembrance. So you can get on there. And now my Skype number has changed. My Skype number is no longer the 973 number. My Skype number is now 505-349-4722. That's my new internet Skype number. My meditational decree and request line is still 505-717-4722. It's nice how both of those numbers now have the 4722. So if you call my Skype, is 505-349-4722. Leave a message, call you right back. If you want to call my meditational decree request line, is about a 2-minute all-purpose decree. You're welcome to listen to that at 505-717-4722. And when the message is up, leave your 10-digit phone number, first, last name, best time to reach you, and I'll call you right back as soon as I can. A lot of people calling all the time, leaving messages. I also write prayers, decrees, and affirmations as a donation for people. Maybe you want to be on my prayer list. I can do that for you. So, you can email me at iam.circlegrace1 at yahoo.com or call my Skype number 505-349-4722, my meditation decree request line, which is 505-717-4722. They come to my personal phone, so if I'm not at the computer, we'll be out and I'll hear the message and call you back. I want to thank you for listening to today's show. We were supposed to go 90 minutes, 2 hours, but we got hung up in time a little bit. We'll be back next Thursday to broadcast. I have to come back next Thursday and broadcast at 5 p.m. Mountain Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. That's every Thursday. Live video streaming and at Blog Talk Radio every Wednesday for 30 minutes, 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a 30-minute live show. Replay this in the archives. I will come back on a few hours later with a random broadcast for about at least 45 to 60 minutes so that you have some information to work with. I want to let you know that I'm here to help you. Yes, I do spiritual consultations for a fee, but I'm here to help you. That's why I'm on here broadcasting. So do download the shows whenever you can. And while you can, in the very near future, some of these shows I'm going to sell on a DVD and a CD. And CDs will go maybe for $10 so people can get that information. And DVDs will go perhaps for $15 or $20, $29, so you can get the information that you need from these shows. And I might do it in such a way where you get a part of a live stream show recorded on, and then have me talk to you directly. I want to thank you for whoever is watching right now, and many of you may be tuning in right now. Thank you for your time and energy and your patience. If you're on Facebook with me, you just look me up under my fan page, which I don't use as a fan page. Is to put broadcasting notes out there. Just go to Circle of Grace 1 at a fan page, group page, Circle of Grace 1, CIRCLEOFGRACE, capital C, capital G, with the number 1. And you can see my page. Just look me up as Bishop Francis Revels-Bey or Brother Francis Revels-Bey for my more private group open Facebook page and connect. Connect with me on Twitter, Instagram. I'm going to be probably using Pinterest in another year or so. Periscope. Yeah. But I'll do something on Periscope so that you can see me so you can get the information. Thank you so much for being patient with me, coming on and listening to me ramble on. The Circle of Grace One was founded on July 2nd, 1999 AD under the aegis and the anointing of the Angel of Grace through divine providence. He gave birth to his very own spiritual and metaphysical institute called the Circle of Divine Grace and Remembrance on February the 7th, 2009. I like to call the Circle of Grace One is the Circle of Divine Grace and Remembrance. I'm the host, chief principal teacher, and founder, Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey. See you next time. See you next week. And I'm going to do my best to be on time. And I'm not accustomed to being late or putting a show off. Thank you so much. And it is my hope that you have a very good weekend coming up. May it overflow with the blessings of who you are. And if you don't know yourself, may you find yourself soon. But if you do know yourself, just remember, what are you receiving and what are you giving? See you next time. And until I see you next time, always remember that divine grace is a blessing as we are alive and well in the age of remembrance. See you soon. Alrighty.